GRTS News with me, Aissatou Keita. We are broadcasting live for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. Coming up in the headlines, His Excellency President Adama Barrow receives delegation of Manjako and Nar communities at the State House. Mitigating the effects of climate change, the Director General National Agricultural Research Institute encourages farmers to adopt organic agriculture to improve healthy food production. Plus, residents of Foni Block and its satellite communities receive free eye screening services courtesy of Imam Buhari Foundation. In the internationals, a humanitarian ship carrying over 307 people, including a 1-month-old baby, urgently seeks to dock at Mediterranean seaport as weather in the area worsens. Well, this and much more coming ahead in this edition of the news with me, Aissatou Keita, and thanks for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. We begin this edition of the news with presidency because His Excellency President Adama Barrow on Sunday received delegations of Manjago and Nar communities at the State House. The delegations were at the President to affirm support and loyalty to the President and his government. Momodu Jallo has the details.
President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, was that of the Manjago community, led by prominent individuals from diverse backgrounds. The meeting accorded both sides the opportunity to exchange views on the socio-political situation in the country and explore avenues of strengthening President Barrow's political base. Andrew T. Mendy spoke of the significance of this meeting, which he believes is the first such outreach by the Manjago community to the corridors of power. He disclosed that his community is following with keen interest developments across the country, and as such, they have resolved to complement these efforts. David Bass, who spoke on behalf of the youth, appealed directly to the President to empower the Manjago youth by providing skill centers to enable them to acquire life skills, whilst Madeline Mendy spoke of the need for fenced vegetable gardens for women of their community. She observed that Manjago women are engaged in many activities, but called on the President to appoint them in key decision-making positions in order to give women a voice. David Gomez, who serves as the Alcalde of Fala, hailed President Barrow as the first leader to politically empower Manjagos by appointing 2 of their community as ministers. He expressed concern with attempts to encroach on Manjago lands, urging the government to take concrete actions to resolve such land disputes. The presidential advisor on youth matters, Henry Gomez, who described himself as a proud member of the Manjago community, called for unity amongst this diverse community to attain their desired objectives. He said the Gambia has politically evolved, and as such, Manjago should empower President Barrow to give him another 5-year mandate to continue his program of development. The Minister of Fisheries and Natural Resources observed that this meeting has added significance because for the first time in the Gambia's history, Manjagos have stood to be counted rather than continue to be spectators in the political process. He attributed this to the new political climate created by President Barrow, which allows for popular participation of all citizens, irrespective of their ethnic or religious backgrounds. The Fisheries Minister urged his community to stand up for their rights as citizens and pursue legal processes to safeguard their lands against encroachment. He finally urged them to massively register for the upcoming elections and vote massively for President Barrow. The Minister of Regional Government and Lands, Musa Drame, reassured that government will look into the land issues across the country, noting that the problem was inherited from the previous government. He disclosed that government has appointed a lands commission to look into these issues and appeal for patience and cooperation. The President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, said he was delighted to receive such a distinguished delegation of highly respectable individuals with proven track records in their fields of work. He reassured the Manjago community that this government accommodates all Gambians irrespective of their ethnic or religious orientations, and therefore urged them to complement his government's development efforts. On the question of land disputes, President Barrow urged caution as the problem was inherited from his predecessor. He however said that his government has taken steps to address the situation, adding that he has no personal interest in the land debacle and would not take sides in order to allow the law to take its course. The President finally urged the Manjago community to stand up for their rights as Gambians and express his willingness to work with them to advance national development. The meeting ended on a high note, with the President seeing off the delegation. Next came another delegation of the Nar community, descendants of Mauritanians who worked and settled in the Gambia. They also came to show their support to the President and seek his intervention in resolving issues affecting their lives. Most important of these, according to Binta Job, is the discrimination against the Nar community when it comes to acquiring national documents. This situation, according to Fatou Jara, has made life difficult for the community, as they cannot get employment or showcase their language and culture in the media. Bilal Fall, a councillor in the Kanifing Municipal Council, decried the stereotypes associated with members of his community and appealed to government to help them undertake a census to determine their numbers. In response, President Barrow expressed immense gratitude to the Nar community for the outreach and promised that his government will review the laws dealing with citizenship to eliminate discrimination against minorities. The president, however, challenged the community to use lawful means to assert their rights as citizens, saying that the Gambia belongs to all citizens, irrespective of their ethnicity. Mohamed Diallo, GRTS News.
Well, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs has informed deputies of the introduction of Integrated Financial Management and Information System in local government. The IFMIS project aims to improve public resource management to strengthen capacity of government to effectively manage public finance. Permanent Secretary Sanyang noted that the initiative is at advanced stage as the CEOs and finance officers have received training on the system. Let's take a listen.
The Accountant General and their ministry, parent ministry, Ministry of Finance, and also UNDP for this support. And I would also like to commend the councils, the CEOs, the finance directors, the procurement officers, all those people who have a stake in the IFMIS system. They organized a training for them. And I think there was a week there was no CEO in each of the councils because they were all attending this training attentively to be ready for the rollout of the IFMIS system. What I always say is that we have no room to say that we cannot operate the system. It has been, a lot of systems have been provided earlier on to councils and they failed because we were not operating them. But the IFMIS system is a non-negotiable or non-compromise system to the councils. So we have to make sure that we see it running such that we will be able to check and balance systems in the process of our activities will be adhered to. Receipting and payments will be done through the IFMIS system, and this will enable councils to be able to bank their revenue and be able to plan them properly. And during the course of the last year, at the end of the year, in December, we had the review of the Finance and Audit Act as well, which all councils took part, and then it's at the final stage to be taken to the executive and then finally brought to the National Assembly for confirmation.
That was the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Lands, Mr. Buba Sanyang, addressing deputies on the upgraded financial management system for municipalities and area councils. Now let's turn our attention to peace-building efforts by young people. Students at the Nusrat Senior Secondary School converged for a day's peace seminar at the school grounds to discuss national unity and strengthen community cohesion. The event, organized by the youth wing of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, seeks to advance peace and dialogue through youth advocacy. Juara has the details.
Addressing the auspicious gathering, Amir of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, Baba F. Tarawale, said peace building should remain a fundamental priority to everyone.
Peace is very important, sacred, and blessed gift from Allah Almighty. Without peace, we cannot live our lives normally and carry out our day-to-day activities as we wish to. Human beings are tied to their fate, and people are willing to sacrifice whatever they have or can give in the way of their faith and hold their faith very dearly.
Amir Tarawale further added that the absence of peace severely threatens other human activities. Amadou Gay and Mamadi Sise of Nusrat Senior Secondary School advised the Ahmadiyya Muslim Students Association for their commitment in promoting peace and stability in the country.
solutions to our problems in this world is all about peace. Peace, understanding, peace, and living with each other in a peaceful way.
The president of Ahmadiyya Muslim Student Association acknowledged his association's willingness in promoting the welfare of people.
The need for creating peace now has become more important. Keeping this thing in view, Ahmadiyya Muslim Student Association, Nusrat chapter, has started its efforts 4 years ago to promote peace and harmony in the society. This year, our theme is interfaith, peace, tolerance, and compassion.
Various speakers enjoined participants to remain as ambassadors of peace. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Khadija Tujwara.
Now, the Director General of National Agriculture Research Institute has encouraged farmers to adopt organic agriculture to improve healthy food production as well mitigate the effects of climate change. Dr. Demba Jallo lamented that chemical fertilizers destroy soil and its organisms, thus harmful to biodiversity. He made these remarks in an interview with Usman Mane. Let's take a listen.
These chemical fertilizers, they will damage the soil, but the organic one will instead increase the soil biota, the soil organic matter and other things, soil organism, even the living organism have a role there. But these fertilizers, the chemical fertilizer will like counteract with that of the living organism in the soil. That is not good. This is why we have all these environmental problems because of the use of these synthetic fertilizers. So what we are trying to do here is to go back to the old way of doing things, where we completely rely on the organic materials, that we have in the environment to help improve our soil fertility.
Your institution is key in the production of food security. Yes. What is NARI specifically doing towards this?
In the organic sense, we are using a lot of indigenous resources to control, for example, insect pests and so. If you look at the fruit fly, for example, we are challenging the effect of fruit fly using some botanicals, eucalyptus, hyptis, the neem leaves, and one very important one which is called oxymum cannon. This is purely organic. All you have to do is to grow the plant just around the premises of your orchard, and once it starts flowering, it will attract the fruit fly away from the mango to that plant, so that the fruit fly will not damage your mango. So these are all organic materials that we are using without any chemical, and we don't even kill them because they are also living things. They may not be useful on the farm, but they can be useful on the other part of the environment. So we are trying to discourage people from using pesticides that will kill all these insects and so.
You made mention of climate change, the impact and sustainability. Yes. How does this affect the work of NARI?
Because if for example, climate change is not controlled, even the new germplasm that we bring here will not succeed. We have seen rainfall is subsiding in this country year by year. Temperatures are increasing, and we are dealing with these living materials, crops, livestock, and so. So if you don't control, if you don't check climate change, it's going to be very difficult for us to produce. This is all we are saying. So let's grow more trees. Let's use bio inputs using plant material to fertilize our soil. That's what we are saying. Otherwise, it's going to be very expensive. Even NARI as an institution, we will find it very difficult to buy some materials to amend the soil. Very expensive, like fertilizers, for example, very expensive, and they are not easily available. The coronavirus has come. You see, people have closed their borders. If you want to import something from even within the sub-region, from Mali, it's very difficult. To the Gambia, it's very difficult. So what we are saying is that we substitute these high-tech inputs that we get outside the boundaries of our country with whatever material that we have here. So we are going to, renew our research to be able to come up with very good recommendations for farmers to be able to take care of their soils using these biomaterials that we have around.
That was Dr. Demba Jallo, Director General of National Agriculture Research Institute, speaking to Usman Mane. Now, Imam Buhari Foundation and partners have extended their eye screening services to the residents of Foni Block and its satellite communities. The initiative, as Majan Baro reports, provided free eye care services to 100 vulnerable people, including cataract patients. Here's more.
Stone mining in the Gambia is economically impacting on the life and livelihoods of many families, but at the same time causing eye problems for miners. Last week, Imam Buhari Foundation, in partnership with Resala for Development Charity Association, Usman Bunafat Charity Organization, and Guimam Eye Care Association, provided eye screening service for 121 people at Mariama Kunda, in which 33 identified cataract patients successfully went under eye surgery, costing the foundation and partners $82,500.
After doing the screening, those who are going to be referred to the hospital at Kanifing will go to the Kanifing hospital and then they will get their treatment free of charge. That will be financed by our association. No cost is attached to it. It's free.
Speaking on behalf of Guimam Eye Care Association, the treasurer Pierre Mendy said many of the patients are having serious cataract diagnosis and can't go under operation.
We have sent some patients who are having cataracts, which of course some are operable and some are associated with other complications and they cannot be operated. We give them medication so that it can bring down or it can preserve their visions, whatever is left with them, because we cannot do anything about whatever is gone. But whatever they still have, we do that in order to preserve what they have.
Stone miners, including Selu Jallo and Ida Sanyang, all calls for more support, especially with protective materials to use during mining in order to avoid eye complications caused by sand particles. The National Assembly member for Foni Berefet, Sunkari S. Baji, applauded Imam Buhari Foundation and partners for coming up with such an initiative, adding that health is expensive.
Imagine how expensive health is, and then you sacrifice everything to come to the doorstep of my constituency to offer them very, very valuable health services. This is indeed recommended and is a big gesture.
Yankuba Bojang, a mine inspector, spoke on behalf of the miners, expressing gratitude to Imam Buhari Foundation and partners for coming to the rescue of these vulnerable miners.
The women who are working in the mines have a very difficult task to carry out. Dust and other illusions are very much difficult when they are operating. So we feel that healthcare that provides health on eye could come around and help them.
In complementing government's efforts towards the provision of primary health care services to the people, especially the vulnerable, Imam Buhari Foundation and partners are looking forward to provide more eye screening exercises after its Foni intervention, which targets 100 people. Majan Baro for GRTS News.
The Office of the West Coast Governor hosted Petroleum Ministry and partners conducting a nationwide campaign on the use of efficient cook stoves. Baira Hincham has the rest of that story.
The Gambia has lost a significant amount of its forest cover, and this is due to the huge dependence on its resources, predominantly the woodland. The significant use of wood and charcoal has led to the depletion of the forest cover, exposing communities to windstorms and sporadic rainfall, one of the primary effects of climate change. For this large pre-urban center, Birkama serves as the heart of the West Coast region. The use of charcoal and firewood is prevalent, making the campaign by the Ministry of Energy and UNIDO for the use of efficient cook stoves, locally called Furno Jambar, and the Oryx gas bottle makes a perfect opportunity to promote the use of clean energy.
The firewood that is being born in the Gambia here in Toneg is very, very huge. And therefore, this is going to also impact on the environment, especially on the forest cover. So therefore, as a result of subsidize this kind of destruction, we need to make some sort of innovative ventures like this to create this Furno Jambar. And if you look at the history of Furno Jambar in this country, I think West Coast region has been a pace setter in this thing through the community development on this ATU, Appropriate Technology Unit, that started this thing for some time ago.
Experts say women bear the brunt of using fuel wood and too much charcoal, which causes health complications and financial loss, making the Furno Jambar a good alternative. Hence, it burns less charcoal with little or no smoke.
For the last 10 years, West Coast wasn't like this, but now we don't have a forest. The only forests that exist in the region are the community forests. Giving women this access for us to go in for energy-saving stove or the gas, it's a good opportunity. It will reduce the amount of fuel wood that we rely on from the forest. And also the emission, not only the emission, but also the smoke that women have to go through during cooking. Some people are asthmatic, and if you are asthmatic, it's not okay for you.
250 Furno Jambars and 50 Oryx gas bottles were given to lucky winners.
And this one, the way it is made and the way it is built, the charcoal is less. You use less charcoal and you easily cook without much smoke, and the cooking goes on fine.
Protecting the Gambia's forest cover and saving our women from economic loss is the message throughout the campaign trail. Soma, the regional center of the Lower River region, will host a tour party on the 25th of January 2021. Reporting for GRTS News, I'm Bai Ibrahim Cham.
Well, we now head to the North Bank region where Momodu Aliu Jaja Job Foundation, in partnership with Focus Project in the United Kingdom, presented assortment of teaching and learning materials to Kerjarga Nursery and Lower Basic School, Kuntaya Upper and Senior Secondary Schools. As Famara Kanyi reports, the donated materials worth over $160,000.
Of books, school furniture and other learning materials worth $160,000 to the Kerjarga Primary School. The support came from the Focus Project in the UK through their Gambian partners, the March Foundation. The materials are part of efforts to strengthen education in the district. Alhaji Usman Job, the president of the March Foundation, called on the people of the region to prioritize the development of the North Bank. He also thanked the management of Kerjarga Lower Basic School for their tireless efforts in supporting primary education in his village. Receiving the materials, Abdul Job, head teacher of the Kerjarga Primary School, thanked the March Foundation for the foresight. He noted the significance of the donated materials as it will encourage the culture of reading among students in the school.
These have come to a time whereby really it was on a high need of the kids in terms of reading, spellings, and even though they are mode of learning. And really, it really drilled them on coming to assist them in a way whereby their motivation will be more in depth online.
The entire Ministry of the Education sector is proud of this foundation because, as already been alluded to in my father's statement, that government alone cannot do it. So we have to come forward to support government. And when we support government, we are supporting ourselves. Because people fail to understand who is government. We are the government. So, if you want to wait for every single thing that government must come to do it, it will come one day, but it's going to take time. So what Mohamed Ali Jarga Foundation, Jarga Job Foundation has done is something that is very much appreciated and recognized by the education sector. And on behalf of the Honorable Minister, my permanent secretary, and the entire staff of the ministry, we are very much grateful. And we say thank you to Mohamed Ali Jarga Job Foundation for coming to our aid.
Chief Alpha Khan and Awa Gay, the ward council of the area, both thanked the foundation for the support, whilst challenged the school management to take good care of the donated materials. The governor of the region, Lamin Sedikan, said the government of the Gambia will continue to support education in the country. He equally called on the people of the region to continue complementing the efforts of government in all areas of development. Former Chief Jim Fatma Job called on donors to help the school to have a proper fence and a borehole to make the environment conducive for learning. The March Foundation has been supporting several activities in the Jokado district in the areas of education and community services. For the news, I am Famara Kanye.
While a report by Famara Kanye takes us to a break, we'll be back with news from outside the Gambia right after. Do stay.
In the Gambia, your favorite GSM operator, Africell, is the first and only GSM operator to launch a brand new technology called the eSIM. The eSIM simply means you can use your phone without a SIM card. Do you have an iPhone 11, any of the iPhone X series, a Google Pixel 3, or any new phone that supports the e-technology? Then walk into any Africell customer care center and activate your eSIM today. With your virtual Africell SIM, you can use more than one number without having a physical SIM card in your phone. Enjoy this brand new technology for the first time in the Gambia, brought to you by Africell. eSIM, your phone without a SIM card. For more information, please call 111. Where Africell goes, nobody dares to follow.
Welcome back. A humanitarian ship carrying over 370 people, including a 1-month-old baby, is urgently seeking to dock at Mediterranean seaport as weather in the area worsens. The migrants from Guinea, Sudan and Sierra Leone were picked up after trying to cross to Europe in rubber dinches. Ocean Viking crew said after calls to Libya went unanswered, the rescue ship has now approached Malta and Italy with requests to be taken in. The vessel is currently in international waters between Italy and Libya. Jana Krionoj from the rescue organization SOS Mediterranean spoke to DWTV from Berlin.
Rescued in 4 consecutive rescues on Thursday and Friday are still desperately waiting to be assigned a place of safety where they can finally reach land.
Tell us about the migrants on board the Ocean Viking right now.
Well, as I said, we rescued 374 people in 4 different rescues on Thursday, Friday. We currently have 337 survivors on board after a woman in the late stage of her high-risk pregnancy was medically evacuated to Lampedusa yesterday in the afternoon. We now have a lot of small children on board. We have 8 babies under the age of 1, and a lot of the survivors suffer from seasickness. The weather has deteriorated rapidly since last night. The children are the ones who suffer most. They can't keep their feet on the ground. We've got a 5-year-old who is now under observation in our onboard clinic. We still have 3 pregnant women, so the situation is really, really stressful for those people.
And with that in mind, what is it your organisation is asking from European countries and the EU?
Well, what we're asking foremost is that the hardship for these 373 people now has to end. They have to go on land in a place of safety as soon as possible. But beyond that, we need a midterm, long-term.
Well, quite a situation there. Now we leave it at that, but before we go, a look at our top stories once again. His Excellency President Adama Barrow received delegations of Manjaco and Nar communities at the State House. Mitigating the effects of climate change, the Director General, National Agriculture Research Institute, has encouraged farmers to adopt organic agriculture to improve healthy food production. Plus, residents of Foni Block and its satellite communities received free eye screening services courtesy of Imam Buhari Foundation. In the internationals, a humanitarian ship carrying over 370 people, including a 1-month-old baby, is urgently seeking to dock at Mediterranean seaport as weather in the area worsens. Well, that was all in the news at 8. Do join us again at 2200 hours for more news. Until then, I was your presenter, Aissatou Keita, and stay tuned to watching our interesting programs.